Well, while I'm doing this, my name is Gregory Jenkins, and I'm actually with the Somerville Arts Council, right next to Boston. And I think in terms of, I think Mary invited us all up. And sometimes when you do these sort of sessions or panels, you sort of say, oh, I've got this is the topic, here's who's coming, and then you say, well, what are we really going to be doing? And I know that I talked to, we had our own little conference call, but at the same time too, this issue of place is such a huge or broad, incredibly broad topic. And I think the one reason why Mary sort of has brought me in was in the sense of our little small cultural council, which has a staff of 4, in relationship to the sort of the larger work within the community, is some of the reasons why. So some of the slides, if I can find them, maybe not. Anyway, one of the things that I was going to talk about in terms of like a sense of place is sort of looking at issues of culture with the big C, assets, change, and sort of physical space in relationship to sort of those 4 main components and kind of the work that we do. But I do feel like those 4 overall aspects are like a lot of what we do as a local cultural council. So even with sort of the C, in terms of larger cultural communities, that we end up having, we do a lot of work within the Somerville's incredible sort of ethnic and diverse neighborhood. And I think setting up sort of mechanisms by where we're constantly trying to see who's coming into town, where is the energy in relationship to what people are doing, how do we sort of engage them? And well, again, we have a staff of 4. So we've done a lot of things where we have calls, we do a producers model, sort of everything we're doing is trying to set up this way in which we're engaging in the community. So we create these forms by which, in a way, we're trying to bring in and or engage within the community. And that sort of larger C in terms of culture is really, really important in relationship to the sense of space. The physical space, and I don't see that, some of the slides that I had were, we've done a lot of work in Union Square, and what was interesting for me to submit these slides is sort of seeing how this one physical area is constantly getting sort of transformed by the way in which we kind of engage with people, whether or not it's in the Nepali community, whether it's with a gay, lesbian, trans community. So doing events, going to them, talking to them about what do they want to do, how do they want to present and physically promote themselves in relationship to the community, I think is really key, just on a level of both engaging them, but kind of like a praxis of sort of constantly sort of checking in on that. The one thing that I know that we always do too is that the city is changing. I mean, it's going from, it's always been sort of an immigrant working class community. It's gone from sort of Irish, Italian, to a certain extent Portuguese in relationship to the Azorean, to, there's a huge Haitian community, there's a burgeoning Nepali community, there's a large Salvadorian community. So the other thing that's happening now, obviously just in the 4 or 5 years, is that Somerville's become this amazing, diverse and looking at issues of assets. Everybody wants to be there. I mean, I think they want to be there because proximity to Boston, but I think they also want to be there because of this type of diversity. So then the question is about place, is all about sort of what are the existing assets and how do you cultivate and try to keep those assets, or at least to highlight the agency and voice of those people. And that now has become even more and more of our work, is to sort of say, what are the infrastructure, the cultural infrastructure can we do to help sustain where there's even a physical place for people to basically engage or to feel comfortable. So a lot of our work in the past 3 to 4 years, in a way, is kind of shifted to that. So we did get an Art Place America grant. I think we were in Philadelphia at the same time, the Village, looking at Art Farm, and again, looking at assets within the community, the urban ag community, the artist community. There's a lot of energy. And so we're kind of cultivating that too. So our presentations are really quick and short, but those are kind of, again, the 4 aspects of assets, physical space, and then there's also a write-up that I had done that you guys should look at. It's, again, I have more of an anthropology and folklore background, so it's in the back too. So thank you. Maybe you'll find this